Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with random reviews from the Overflow Room. And we're still thrumming our way through Liszt. I got some, the more I look at these things, the more interesting Liszt becomes to me. Actually, I had this huge Liszt thing I talked about in the last video when I was doing my vibrato research and performance practice in the 19th century, and also, just the wider range of not the usual, same old Liszt stuff. And there's some amazing things in here. There really are. But let's start with Karajan's Liszt double disc here. These are beautiful performances. Liszt deserves absolutely gorgeous orchestral playing because his own orchestration was really a little screechy, and you can make it sound better than it really is sometimes, and Karajan certainly does that. We've got the Mephisto Waltz, Les Préludes, slightly droopy. It could be a minute faster or so, but it's amazingly well played. The Fantasia on Hungarian Folk Melodies with Shura Cherkassky piano. Well, that's interesting, isn't it? Hungarian Rhapsody number 5, Mazeppa, Hungarian Rhapsody number 2, Tasso, Lamento e Triunfo, big tone poem, 22 fun-filled minutes, and Hungarian Rhapsody number 4. I wish Karajan had done more Liszt. I really do. These are beautiful performances. They're just on another level than most. They really are. I mean, just in terms of orchestral execution. And it's worth hearing the music played by a super fabulous orchestra that's on top of its form, and getting the Karajan treatment, because Liszt, like I said, Liszt scoring was not Karajan-esque. It wasn't designed for incredible strings and all that stuff. So, wow, what a difference it makes when you play it that way. Whoa, it's worth hearing. It really is. Then we've got the early Claudio Arrau Liszt recordings of the Piano Concerto number 1 with Eugene Ormandy in Philadelphia, and the Hungarian Fantasy, also with Eugene Ormandy and Philadelphia. And let's see what else have we got. Hungarian Rhapsodies numbers 11, 10, 8, 9, and 13. Now, all of this, these are monos, and they were reissued as part of that fabulous Masterworks Heritage Mono Era series, which lasted for about 10 minutes, unfortunately. I remember so vividly when I went, Sony had a presentation for us, New York-based critics. And so we went there in their studio, and they showed us the equipment, and Seth Winter was there, and everybody was there. All the people were working on this stuff, and they were so proud of what they had to do, of what they did, and how they did it. It was like total spare no expense. All of this stuff was just amazing. And of course, it lasted for 10 minutes. they spared no expense for as long as it took to issue this stuff, and then they all deleted it. Anyway, this is Arrau in his prime, early mature phase. And it says, an unbeatable combination of polish and glitter. Ray Erickson in High Fidelity, September 1953. And it really was. 1953, it was pretty damn good. Then we've got Symphonic Poems Volume 4. I have a bunch of these. I have the whole set somewhere, pieces of it drifting about. So we've got the Dante Symphony and the Two Legends. I got this at the time for the Two Legends. It's with Gianandrea Noseda and the BBC Philharmonic. It is not the most exciting Dante Symphony out there, because nobody does the Dante Symphony as well as it needs to be done, unfortunately. But the Two Legends are wonderful. They're not part of the canonic tone poems, but they are tone poems. They are, just for the record, St. Francis of Assisi's Sermon to the Birds, Preaching to the Birds, and St. Francis de Paul, Walking on the Waves. And they're 8 minutes and 10 minutes and 8 minutes and a bit, 20 minutes for the two of them. And they're beautiful. Wonderfully. I mean, it's Liszt. I mean, the bird thing goes on for a bit too long, His sense of timing is a little bit off. But wow, it was great to have these. And so I hang on to this. There are other Dante symphonies that I can dislike just as much. Then we've got, Georgy Cziffra, the Phillips years, Chopin and Liszt. It's 4 discs, mostly Chopin. It's almost all Chopin, actually. You've got the first piano concerto, the second sonata, scherzos, waltzes, polonaises, etudes, and all that stuff. But the list is only a tiny selection. At the very end, you have the Polonaise number 2, the Petrarch Sonnet number 123, the Fantasy and Fugue on the Name of Bach, the Caprice Poétique number 3, a sigh, the Tarantella from Venezia and Napoli, and let's see, Caprice Poétique number 2, La Leggerezza, and the Legend number 2, which is, we just talked about, the orchestral version of Saint Francis de Paul walking on the waves. So there you go. I mean, it was the Cziffra Phillips recording, so I mean, you have to have them. They were recorded in the 1960s, basically. The Liszt stuff, particularly 1963. So he was in very good form, and yeah, that's fun to have. Then we've got, this is one of the Hungariton things that we started talking about before. André Hegedus, I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. It's Liszt Wagner transcriptions. And there's a lot of them. And they're really cool. And this is a really fun double disc. You've got the Overture from Tannhäuser, Wolfram's Romance, the Entry of the Guests, and the Pilgrim's Choir, the Fantasiestück on motives from Rienzi, the Spinning Song from the Flying Dutchman, Senda's Ballad from the Flying Dutchman, the Festspiel, celebration music, and a bridal song from Lohengrin, Elsa's Dream, Lohengrin's Verweis, his whatever that is, farewell, curse, whatever he does, Elsa's Brautzug, Elsa's wedding procession, and then we've got Isolde's Liebestod from Tristan and Isolde, Am stillen Herd from the Meistersingers, Valhalla from The Ring, and the Solemn March and Holy Grail thing from Parsifal. Whew. And that's not even all of the Wagner transcriptions, but this is quite a collection, and it was really enjoyable when I heard it. In fact, I liked it better than most of the originals, largely because the piano's playing is so much fun, and it's flashy and it's shorter. Yeah, so that's cool. Then what do we got here? Late works orchestrated and conducted by György Salmecki with the Camerata Transylvanica. Wow, this is BMC, Budapest Music Center. And this is some crazy stuff here. Okay, so it's orchestrations of the Czardas Obstine, the 4 Forgotten Waltzes, and the Hungarian Historical Portraits, which is an absolutely fabulous work, and its solo piano version. Very spare, very angular, and I think incredibly compelling. And the Czardas Macabre. So that's fun. That's an unusual and different Liszt disc, isn't it? And finally, last but not least, Liszt with Angela Hewitt, the Piano Sonata, the Dante Sonata, and the Petrarch Sonnets. These are good. I think she's a little bit droopy in the B minor sonata. It's kind of one of those cocaine rhinos. One of the things that I think Hewitt did because she could, not because she should, because she's a Bach pianist and she's done some Debussy and some Couperin and all that stuff, Ravel and things like that. She wanted to show she could be one of the heavy hitters. Well, she showed it. And she hit heavy, maybe a little too heavy in spots. But there you have it, a nice, interesting pile of Liszt continues to fascinate me. He really does. I mean, what an unbelievably unique collection of material. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks so much for joining me. Take care.